Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I will be revising with you and solving another exam for grade 10 advanced. So I will be solving the end of term 1 exam academic year 2017 and 2018. And in the other videos, you will be seeing another academic years. Now let's see here. In the first MCQ, you are having choose the correct description of the systems of equation. And he's giving you equation 1 and equation 2. So let's look at the choices before rushing to solve. You are having consistent, independent. I can decide. Inconsistent and dependent. You will be cancelling this. Whenever you are having the word inconsistent, that means it can't be whether dependent or independent. So from the beginning, you will be cancelling the B and C. That means we already know from the choices that we are going to be having a solution, but I don't know whether it is one solution or many solutions. So let's solve this system together. 3x plus 2y equal 3. 4x minus 2y equal 4. Let's see if I'm getting one solution or many solutions. So here I'm having 2y minus 2y, add elimination using addition, 7x equals 7. That means I don't have many solutions. I'm having one solution. Divide by 7, divide by 7, your x will be 1. And if you would like to revise more, then you can find your y, but your solution will be 3 multiplied by y, 3 multiplied by the 1 plus 2y equal 3. Find your y, and your y will be 0. Your point will be 1 and 0. And from here, you can tell that it is independent because you already have only one solution and it is consistent. Now, let's go to the question, which is very famous in all the exams that I solved with you. That means it is very important. So please focus on this question with me. He is giving you two lines and it is shaded. So that means you are having system of inequalities, not system of equations. Pay attention. And your solid line will be having a y-intercept. And this y-intercept, let's count 1, 2, 3. So it is 0 and minus 3. And the y-intercept of the dashed line is all about 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is 0 and 4. So we know that some of the answers can be cancelled. So let's pay attention to the things that we need to cancel from the beginning. So we know that I'm having one dashed and one solid. And whenever you are having dashed, that means it will be without equal. If you are having a solid line, that means you are going to include the equal. So from now, you will be cancelling A. Look at this, both of them dashed or both of them solid. So I should think of B and D. And if you notice, both of them will be having the same function here. That means you will be only focusing on the inequality and the way of shading. Let's see which one is right. We know that whenever I'm having less than or equal, I will be shade below. I will be shading below. Bigger than or equal, above. And you can see my previous videos. I have given many examples about this topic. So let's see this. So in general, you can focus about what each of them will tell you. So here, the solid line, it will show you that it is above the solid line, the shaded, and it is below the dashed. And here, below, and here, above. Let's check now. Let's check the shaded area. Let's go to the solid line. So let's imagine that I had this solid line. And the reality is that the shaded was like this. So it is only a sketch. And in general, I get another dashed line. And the shading was like this. And this is the intersection, the feasible region. It is this one, this whole area, the one that he is coloring it for you. So that means the dashed I will shade below, and the solid I will be shading above, which is your B, not your D. So it will be very helpful to focus, pause, try to solve it, and then come back to continue the video and continue solving with me. Let's go to the other question. Evaluate the determinant, and I'm having a 3 by 3 determinant. In your book, you are having the diagonal method. I have another method for you, and you can decide which is easier for you. So whenever you are having 3 by 3 matrix, you can go to the first column, put plus, second column minus, third column plus. So in your book, he's solving it using diagonal here. I will be reducing the 3 by 3 into 2 by 2 determinant. So let's focus here with me. I will be using colors. So how can I do this? First of all, I will take the number which I put the sign above it with the sign that I put it. So positive 2. So you will be putting the 2. Then you will be cancelling using straight lines, not diagonals. So only use straight lines. And you will be going from this point, you will cancel this. From this point, you will cancel this. Now, focus. What is remaining for you? It is only this one. So let's write it as 2 by 2 determinant. 2, 1, minus 1, and 5. Then I'm done from this one. Let me erase it. Let's go to the other one. 0 with the minus, it won't make difference. But if it was, for example, 1, 2, 3, so you will be putting here minus 2, for example. Okay? So here, because you are having 0, so you don't have any difference. Okay? So it will be plus 0, and again you will be taking diagonals from this point. You will be taking straight lines sorry, no diagonals. So you will be cancelling all this. And now you can't go there, you can't go there. All what you do is that you can cancel the 2 and -1. So what's left for you? Only these elements. So put it like this. And if you are expert in this way, you will know directly that no need even to write this term, because you are expert that already your 0 will cancel your 2 by 2 determinant. But because maybe whoever is watching me is doing this for the first time, I taught this for my students. So I will be explaining in details in case someone will feel that it is the first time to hear this method. So let's go to the last thing. Again, whenever you are having 0, whenever you are expert in this method, that means you should know that it is already deleted. But let me do it with you. 0, you will be cancelling the straight lines related to this 0. So go there, delete it, and go and delete this. What is remaining for you? Only this. 3, 2, 1, -1. Good. Now, let's delete this. Now, let me revise with you the 2 by 2 determinant, A, B, C, and D. Your 2 by 2, it's all about this arrow. Look at where I started. I started from A, I went to D, minus B, I went to C. That means AD minus BC. So let's now do it together. 2, you will be multiplying 2 by 5 minus 1 by -1. Then now focus with me. Why did I tell you before that when you become an expert, you will not even write these? Whenever you are have 0, 0 will be multiplied by this determinant. So in the exam, as a save for your time, you should know that whenever you are having here 0, there is no need to do this. And let me explain why. If I found here 3 multiplied by 5, 15, minus 1 multiplied by 1, 1. Then 3 multiplied by -1, minus 3, minus 2. Now, if I multiply the 0 by 14, I will be getting 0. So this will be cancelled. And here I will be getting 0. So this will be cancelled. So that's why whenever you are expert in this way, whenever you practice more, you will be knowing that whenever you are having here zeros, that means you should only focus at the first one. Okay, and even if it was only in the middle, even if it was at the beginning, it is having all the concept. So whenever you are simplifying this, you will be getting 22. And this is your answer A. Let's go to the other question. An interesting question. You are having a gas station, and this gas station will sell for you 3 types of gasoline. So if I would like to explain it in Arabic, أنواع من الوقود 3 أنواع يختلف حسب الدرجات. So it's all about low grade, mid grade, premium. So let's see each of them. What does it cost for me? And Pay attention to this. You are having 3 variables. First of all, mid-grade. It will cost 0.1 per gallon more than, which is the addition, the low grade, which is L. So from now, let's start to understand the relationship. So he connected the mid-grade with the low grade with a relation, and he told me that it costs 0.1 per gallon more than the low grade. And what about the premium? Your premium is connected with the mid-grade. So you have to know what is the relation, the mid with the low, the premium with the mid. And he said that it is 0.1 per gallon more than, again, addition. So I'm having a relation between M and L, P and M. Lastly, what he told you, 3 gallons of low grade will be costing for you 20 dirhams. So now he connected the L with a number, not with any variable, okay? 3 gallon, or it could be any other units. So it will be here, your gallons. Let me just write it like this, which is connected to this. Great. Now, which system of equations represent the cost of each type? So previously I helped you to focus and know what is the relation between each of them. So your M will be connected to the L, and it is more than it by 0.10, and you have to know that this is your first relation. You connected between the mid-grade and the low grade. Now you are done from the first equation. Let's go to the second equation. You are needing to connect between P and M. So your P will be your N more than, added to it, 0.1. Lastly, I don't have any variable connected to other variable. Now I'm connecting a cost to a variable directly. So he told you that if you are taking 3 gallons of, remember, multiplication. So 3 from the low will be equal to 20. And this is your third equation. Now let's look at the answers. First of all, directly, if you are understanding what is the meaning of more than, you will be cancelling A, because here you are having subtraction. And D, it's 2 equations. You need to cancel it from the beginning, and it doesn't represent the relation. Okay? What else do I have? I have here 3L is equal to 20, L plus 0.1, P is equal M plus 0.1. Do you have a relation like this? Wrong. So your answer is C directly. let's go to this question. Find the y-intercept. Whenever you would like to find the y-intercept, it's all about 0 and b. That means you will be substituting by 0. And whenever you are substituting by 0, here you are having x squared, it will be cancelled. 5x will be cancelled, so it will be minus 6. So if you put it as a point, 0 and minus 6. So it will be your C. Now let's pay attention to this question, please. And pay attention to the wording, please, because I will comment something on this question. He's asking you, find the max or minimum value, and he gave you the function. That means he won't the max or your minimum. And we talked before that whenever you would like to find max minimum, you must look at y value. But if he asks you at which this minimum or maximum happens, that means you should choose your x value. So let's deal as if I don't have multiple choice, and let's solve it. Here, whenever you are having quadratic, the easiest way is that think of the equation of the axis of symmetry. X is equal minus b over 2a. And to find the y, it will be f of the x that you got above. So let's see, minus 24 over 2 multiplied by 4. And lastly, it will give you the x is equal to 3. And if I would like to substitute by f with 3, after substitution, you will be getting minus 25. Okay, and now before I go to the multiple choices, I would like you, so the point is 3 and minus 25. So before I go, I would like you to check the a value. Is it bigger than 0 or not? So here I'm having it is bigger than 0, and it is a quadratic function. That means it will be having a sketch of up like this. That means I'm having here minimum value of minus 25 at x is equal to 3. And pay attention to the wording that I'm saying. Let's look at the multiple choice. Max of 3, minimum of 3, max of 4, minimum of 4. Actually, if I would like to comment on the multiple choices, all of them are wrong. Why? Look at the wording. The wording means max of 3. That means you are having y of 3, and that's wrong. Y of 4, that's wrong. Y of 3, that's wrong. Y of 4, and that's wrong. So I would like to grab your attention into this question. I know in the exam he meant that he would like to find at which value it occurs. He wanted to find x, but the answers are answers of y, which is wrong. He mixed both questions inside each other. So if I were the student, I would comment to the teacher and I would tell her that the answers are not matching. Whenever you are having the word of, that means after it here, max of, it is y, not x. And you are getting y of minus 25. So that means you want the x, not the y. So let's now write our answer in a good way. So the answer in a good way will be, of course, it is minimum, and we discussed why. So this is the right answer. Minimum of minus 25. Let me delete this. At x is equal to 3. Okay, so pay attention to this. It is a typo error, but the typo error is very crucial. So if I would like to follow on this, I could delete all the of and I will put at. So if I will do so, then your answer will be B. Minimum at 3, which is at x is equal to 3. Okay, so this is to grab your attention to the wording. At means at which x, of means the y value. Now let's go to the other question. Now the other question is asking you which quadratic equation has for the roots minus 1 and 2. So you have two options. Whether you go to each of them, A, B, C, D, and you go use your calculator factor and see what are the factors of this, 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 then choose. This is your first option. The second option is that be professional and solve it directly. So you can do both of them. Whether you find the answers by the calculator, then choose the answer, or you can solve it and know directly which one is this. So whenever he's giving you the roots, x is equal minus 1, x is equal 2. That means x, can we change it as a factor? X plus 1, x minus 2, and with this, if I would like to make FOIL method, after doing this FOIL method, I will be having lastly x squared minus x minus 2 equals 0, which is option D. So if I would like to use the calculator method with you, in each of them, you need to specify what is your A, what is your B, and what is your C. So A, 1, B, 1, C, minus 2. So go to the calculator, mod 5, 3, solve this equation. You will be having root of 1 and minus 2. So you will be cancelling A. Then let's go to this. Your A is equal to 1. Your B is equal to 2. Your C is equal to minus 1. So this is other method that you can use during the exam for the multiple choice. So here you will be getting minus 1 plus square root of 2 and plus and minus here. So both of them will be including radical. Cancel this. Now let's go to this one. You are having your A is 1, B minus 2, C 1. So if you went to your calculator, you will be having answers of 1 as a repeated root. Repeated. So also you will be cancelling this, and your answer directly when you factor D, you'll be getting minus 1 and 2. So here I exposed you to two methods, whether you do it with the calculator directly or FOIL method. Let's go to this question. And now let's pay attention to question 8. What he would like you to do? Which value of B? Pay attention, your B is not the last value as you are used. Your B is the coefficient of X, which makes a perfect square. So in general, what do I mean by the word perfect square? In the previous question, I was just telling you that here you are having a repeated root of X is equal 1. That means if I would like to write this, it will be X minus 1 all squared, and it will be perfect square. So let me go back to this sentence. What do I mean by the perfect square? So it will be giving you your repeated root. And if we would like to think of it as the discriminant, that means your discriminant value should be 0, because the 0 will give you repeated roots. So B squared minus 4AC should be equal to 0. And if you substitute it, it will be B squared. It is unknown already. Minus 4. What is your A? 1. What is your C? 9. Equal to 0. Now move it to the other side. Keep B squared alone. It will be your 36. And now, what I would like you to do, take the square root. Take the square root. Whenever you are taking the square root of a squared value, you will be left with absolute value. So you will be having absolute value of 6. Then your B will be plus and minus 6. Now let's look at the choices. Here he's only putting for you 6, and that's totally fine. So to write this or to check this, when you are having your B as 6, let's substitute x squared plus 6x plus 9. If you went to your calculator, you will be having a repeated root of x is equal minus 3. So the way of writing this, it's all about x plus 3 all squared. That's it. Another way to do this is that each time you will be taking this value and you will be substituting in the calculator. Are you going to get a perfect square or not? Try A, B, D. It won't work. It will work with C. So I would like you to know this method of the discriminant, that it should be equal to 0 to give you perfect square. Now let's go to the simplification. And in the simplification, he is giving you imaginary numbers and two binomials of imaginary multiplied by each other. So I would like to grab your attention on something very important, which is whenever you are having, put the I as it is, whenever you are having terms with the binomial and another term, and the only difference is the sign, that means it will be put in the form of A minus B, A plus B. And this is one of the methods of factorization. So A minus B, A plus B, it's all about A squared minus B squared. And remember, it is different than A minus B all squared. Okay? So now let's see together, how can I solve such a question? I will put the I as it is. Then I will take my first A and I will be squaring it. 2 squared minus 3I all squared. Now let me simplify this further. I 4 minus, so let's look at this. So it's 9I squared. And we know that your I squared is all about minus 1. So it will be minus 9. So you are having minus, minus. So you will shift it to plus. Okay? And then you can add it. And this will be giving you 13I. And this is your D. Again, there is another method. You can change your calculator mode into complex mode and put it, and it will directly calculate for you the answer, which is D. So some of the students doesn't know how to change their calculators into complex mode. So whether you can use this method or you can directly comment for me and I will be telling you the method. Let's go to the other question. Here he's asking you to again simplify, but this time you are having polynomials and between them there will be subtraction. So I would like to do it directly. I will look at the terms which I can consider them like terms. 6a squared minus 4a squared. So directly 6a squared minus 4a squared, it will be 2a squared. Let me take another color. 5a minus 6a. So directly it will be minus a. Another color. 10 minus 12. So directly you can see that it is minus 2. That's it. So which choice is this? It is your A. Now let's go to determine the degree of the polynomial. When you find the degree of the polynomial, I advise you to check all the terms, not only the first term, and go directly choose the 3. Check all the terms. Here I'm having like terms, and not only like terms, one of them positive, the other one negative, and they have the same coefficient. That means these two terms will be cancelling each other. So this will cancel this. What is the new polynomial for x squared plus x minus 32? That means your highest degree is 2. That's it. Now, what is the number of real zeros? Whenever he is asking you about the real zeros, directly look at the x-axis, see the intersection between the graph itself and the x-axis, and count. Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So how many reals? 5. That's it. Some questions will not take much time from you. Now let's go to 13. So here I'm having question 13 with the operation of some functions. So I'm having f plus g all x. So that means it is all about f of x plus g of x. So add them now. X squared plus 5x minus 2 plus 3x minus 2. Go to the like terms and get rid of them. Combine them together, so it will be x squared plus 8x minus 4. And this will be your option B. Then, in the other question, he's asking you find the inverse. What do I mean by find the inverse? That means I should follow some steps. The first step is that you will take this function, you will remove your g of x, and you will be putting instead of it y. Then imagine that it is a mirror, a switch, x is equal 3y plus 1. So x minus 1 is equal to 3y. And if I would like to keep the y alone, x minus 1 all over 3. And lastly, you have to remove the y and put it with the inverse of g. X minus 1 over 3. And that will be giving you answer A. So you can solve and check your answers with me. Lastly, in the multiple choices, here I'm having a question which is again about the graphing of the quadratics. But now you are having inequality. So pay attention. First of all, I gave you previously the steps of checking any quadratic inequality. Check A. What is the value of A? It is more than 0. It is positive. That means it will be opening upward. Okay. Then I'm having inequality. This than or equal. That means first of all, I will be having solid line. Second, because I know it is less than or equal, that means the shading will be below. Also, other than this, you can find, as I explained before, you can find the axis of symmetry, you can find the roots. So you can work on this, and I will be showing some of this now. So let's just cancel some of the answers. I know that my shading should be below. Your A and C are shading above the line, which is wrong. So now you will be confused between B and D. And the axis of symmetry here will be 3. And your roots are 2 and 4. Your roots here minus 2 and minus 4. So I would like you to go and find the roots. This will help you to solve this question. So after using your calculator or the factorization method, x1 and x2, your x1 is 4, your x2 is 2. So It is your B, not your D. With this, you cancel them. Let's go to the last two questions. This exam was containing questions about probability, but I have removed them because already in your curriculum now of term 1, whatever included in the curriculum is not the probability. So let's see now, how can I solve such a question? Simplify, and he's giving you terms. So first step, think how can you solve each of them alone. Take square root of 12 alone, square root of A, plus 2 square root of 27, square root of A, plus square root of 48, square root of A. Now what do you notice? You are having addition and you are having a common factor, GCF. So you can directly put your square root of A outside and start to add these terms together. So after adding them, you will be having 20 square root of 3. Now let's remind each other by the rule of square root of A multiplied by square root of B. You can combine them by multiplication. That means instead of putting the square root of 3 alone, square root of A alone, I can combine both of them. Square root of 3A. And this will be your B. Then, last multiple choice question. Whenever you are having same base, and pay attention to this, and division, you can subtract the powers. So your x, 5/6 minus 1/5. That means your x, it's all about 19/30. And this is your answer. Let's go now to the open-ended questions. And pay attention. Use the following matrices to find each of 3 quantities if possible. So that means it could be not possible. So always you should check the inner dimensions, you should check the dimension in general, and you should check the determinant for the inverse that it should not be equal to 0 to find a determinant for the inverse. Let's go to question 21. 2 multiplied by A, so directly I will write it, 1,436 minus B. First of all, they are having same dimension, so I can perform the subtraction. But before the subtraction, I'm having scalar multiplication. So your scalar multiplication will be 2, 8, 6, 12. That's it. Then subtract 7 minus 4 minus 3 and 8. Okay. To save a place, I will be writing the answer here. So after subtracting, you will be taking each term, subtract with the other term, and you will be putting it. So your answer of 21 will be, let me just maximize this, and then solve here. It will be a matrix, again, 2 rows, 2 columns, minus 5. This is the first row, and 10, 11, and 4. So this is your solution here. Great. So now let me use the ruler to be organized. So now let's go to the other question. He's telling you find A multiplied by C. Whenever you would like to multiply, you should check the inner dimensions. A is 2 by 2. C is 2 rows through 3 columns. That means inner dimensions are matching. Your new matrix will be having new dimension of 2 rows, 3 columns. So what I will do is that I will be doing or performing the multiplication using the above question. So first of all, I will be using first row with first column. Pay attention only on A and C. So when I do this, 1 multiplied by 5 plus 3 multiplied by 1. Then again, the same row with the other column. 1 multiplied by 2 plus 3 multiplied by minus 6. Then to this column. 1 multiplied by minus 2 plus 3 by 4. And now let's go to the other row. So I will be erasing this. Let's go to the second row, first column. And this will be all about 4 by 5 plus 6 by 1. Please pay attention. Then let's go to the other one. 4 by 2 plus 6 by minus 6. Then let's see, lastly, this column, 4 by minus 2 plus 6 by 4. And I'll be putting brackets. After calculating all of this, so I will leave it for you and you can pause, you can look at it. Now I will be putting the final answer here for you. So you can pause or get back again to the video, look at the detailed solution. So it's all about 8, 26 here in the first column. Then the second column, minus 16, minus 28. Third column, 10 and 16. Great. Again, if you need to have the solution, you can get back to the beginning. So, I would like to have A inverse. So what is the rule? It is 1 over determinant of A multiplied by adjoint of A. That means solve your determinant of A. And let's put it up. So what is your determinant of A? First of all, 1 by 6 minus 3 by 4. That means it's all about -6. Now let's find the adjoint. Your adjoint, it's all about, and pay attention now to the coloring. This diagonal, you will be switching the numbers 6 and 1. Now, the other diagonal, you will be changing signs. -3, -4. Then you will be multiplying whatever you got to find the inverse. So lastly, your last answer should be 1 over -6 multiplied by the adjoint, which is this one. And I will now simplify it further, do the scalar multiplication, and directly it will be for you -1, 1 over 2, 2 over 3, -1 over 6, and that's it. You can go back and see the detailed solution. So this question, I solved it the same in the previous exams also. So let's see. The first step, whenever you are seeing inequality, whenever you are having radical sign square root, you should find the domain. Then your domain, it is whatever inside the square root 3x plus 3 bigger than or equals 0. So after solving this, your domain will be x bigger than or equal -1. And then let's go now and solve it. First of all, and first step, you need to move this to the other side. 3x plus 3 less than or equal 2 plus 1, 3. Now, what you need to do is that whenever you are having square root, to cancel it, just a square. 3x plus 3. So, with this, you will be having less than or equal 9. Just solve this. We know that we will be rejecting one of the values. So, after solving this inequalities, you will be having your x less than or equal 2. And your solution of the graph itself, or let's use the ruler, more organized. So I will be having here 0, 1, 2, -1, -2. So close circle for both of them, -1 and 2. Let's see. Here I will be shading this side, and there you will be shading the other side. And the solution will be the intersection of both of them. So your x will be bigger than or equal -1, less than or equal to. Let's go to this question. Write this function in the vertex form. Then identify the vertex, which is the coordinates of the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the direction of opening, whether it is up or down. So now let's pay attention to this. Y is equal. Whenever you are having in the standard form and you would like to change it to the vertex form, take the first two terms, x squared minus 6x, and pay attention to this one. This is the part that it will help you. You should look at the value of b, which is 6 divided by 2 and square it. 6 divided by 2, 3. 3 squared, it is all about 9. So, what you will do is that you will add a 0. Let's see, what do I mean by adding a 0? So, your y will be equal x squared minus 6x. And I will focus on the first part. One time I will add 9, another time I will subtract the 9. With this, it's like I added a 0. Then, which will not affect anything in my equation. Then I will put plus 7 as it is and as if I didn't change anything. And you will just take the first, let me just delete this. You will take the first 3 terms. You can factor them and you will find that they are repeated roots. You can use your calculator, you will get x is equal to 3. So to put it, it will be x minus 3 all squared. And here minus 9 plus 7 minus 2. Now to find all what he was requiring you should compare y equal, this is the general vertex form, a x minus h all squared plus k. That means your vertex coordinates are x and y in general, but instead of writing x and y in the vertex form, he taught you new thing, which is h and k. So now your vertex are no more x and y, your vertex will be h and k. And let's find it directly. Start comparing. Here it is your h and all of this your k. That means it is 3 and minus 2. And this is the vertex itself. Now, let's go to the axis of symmetry. So as an information for you that I have said it before, your axis of symmetry will be the same as your value of h. Because when your parabola will be opening, here is your axis of symmetry. It will be intersecting with the x value itself of the vertex, which is the h. Okay? So here, I will be having axis of symmetry of 3. So x is equal to 3. Now, what is the direction of opening? Here I'm having a positive number and here I was having a positive number. That means your a is bigger than 0. It is positive, so it opens up. So from the beginning, you have to tell him that it is opening up. Now let's go to the 3 last questions. Find all the zeros. So if you can see, they are repeating the same questions each time. So that's why if you watched all the videos of the exams that I did, they are repeating the same concepts. So here, he would like you to find all the zeros. So use synthetic division and look at the factor that he gave you. Equate it to 0. So it will be 2. Then start looking at your index form. X to the power 3. That means it is here. X to the power 2. It is there. Minus 8. X to the power 1. X to the power 0. That means all of them are here and no need for me to put any 0. Okay? So, let's solve this together. You will be bringing the 3 down. 2 multiplied by 3, 6. Add them. You will be having minus 2. Multiply. Add. You will be having 7. Multiplied. Add. You will be having a remainder of 0, which will make sure that already you are having a factor. Now, let's write your answers. So your f of x, 3x cubed minus 8x squared plus 11x minus 14. It's all about your first factor, x minus 2, multiplied by your depressed polynomial, and we don't have any remainder to write. So your n was 3, so the depressed polynomial n minus 1, which is to the power of 2. So 3x squared minus 2x plus 7. And let's see, what are the other factors? Use your calculator to find what are the factors, or also you can use the discriminant and the quadratic formula. So x1 and x2 will be imaginary numbers or complex numbers. 1 over 3 plus, and let's write it one time. It will be your x 1 and 2 plus and minus 2 square root of 5 over 3i. So you are having complex factors or complex roots. And whenever you are needing to put such thing, it's better to keep it as it is. Or if you would like, you can just show x minus x1, x minus x2, and substitute. And after substitution, you will be having x minus the first one, which is 1 over 3, plus 2 square root of 5 over 3i. The other one, x minus 1 over 3 minus 2 square root 5 over 3i. And you can distribute the minus and leave it into real part and imaginary part. Okay? Or you can just keep it as it is. Let's move to this question, 27. He would like you to write a quadratic or a polynomial function, and he's giving you the zeros. Now pay attention. Whenever you see between the zeros complex number, that means you have to use the complex conjugate. That means the zeros are minus 3, 1, minus 3i, and plus 3i. So your p of x or f of x is x minus x1, x minus x2, x minus x3, and x minus x4. Because I'm having 1, 2, 3, 4. So x minus the first, that means x plus 3. X minus the second, that means x minus 1. Then x minus minus plus 3i. x minus 3i. So how can I solve such a question? Previously, in this video, I showed you how can you solve the a plus b, a minus b. So please, you can go back and see it again. And here, all what you need to do is FOIL method. So if we use here the FOIL method, the end will be for you is x squared plus 2x minus 3. And here, it will be the reality is that a squared minus b squared. So x squared minus 9i squared. So after simplifying this, you will be having p of x squared plus 2x minus 3 x squared plus 9. And now all what you need to do, you are having binomial, trinomial multiplied by each other. You can distribute each term on the other trinomial, as I showed you here. And lastly, you will be getting your p of x or f of x as x to the power 4 plus 2x cubed plus 6x squared plus 18x minus 27. That's it. Let's go to the last question in the exam, and it will be very nice question because it contains operations which will be inside each other and needs focusing. So let's focus together. Solve the system of equations, and he's giving you 3 equations. 1, 2, 3. And you know previously that whenever you are having 3 equations, that means you must take each 2 of them and solve it together. Then you will be getting a new equation for each pair and you must solve it together. But in this question, or you can use it your Kramer rule, you can use it the matrix equation. So there are many ways to solve this equation. So one of these ways to solve it, focus on the third one. If you moved x to the other side, you will be leaving your x alone. So this will be helpful for you for the substitution. So this is your new equation 3. So you will go and you will put your new equation inside 1 and 2. So put in U3 in 1 and 2. And this will help you to get a new one and a new 2. So let's see how can we solve this. Your first one will be your x 2y minus y plus 2z equal to 0, which will simplify later to y plus 2z equals 0. And pay attention to this. Now, and this is your new one. Let's go to a new 2. 3, open brackets, 2y plus z equal 11. After the multiplication, it will be 6y plus z equal 11. And now, this will be your new 2. After this, what you need to do is that look at your new one and your new 2. Don't you have system of 2 equations with 2 variables only? And you can easily solve it with an elimination or substitution. So let's solve it with elimination. Okay, you can solve it also with substitution. So let's multiply your new one by 6. So this will be 6y plus 12z equal to 0. 6y plus z equal to 11. Now I'm having same signs, that means I should subtract. So 12z minus 1z, it will be 11z. 0 minus 11 minus 11, that means if you divided both sides by 11, you will be having minus 1. And with this, you are done solving already your z. So let's make here lines to find the rest. Great. Now let's use the value z to find. Now go backward. You will not go run directly to find x. To find x, you need y, and you don't have y. So let's use them to find y. So look at the first equation. Y plus 2z equals 0. That means your y will be equal to minus 2z. So minus 2 multiplied by minus 1, that means it is 2. That means your y, it's all about 2. Now your x, pay attention to this. You got your z, you got your y. Now directly go find your x. 2y, 2 multiplied by 2, and it's all about 4. Now, when you would like to write your answer, always write it with the ordered triple. X, Y, and Z. So your X is 4, your Y is 2, your Z is minus 1. And that is the end of this exam. I wish you all best of luck. And if you have any question, you can write in the comments. It's my pleasure to answer all your questions. Thank you so much.